I was ordering a bunch of cocks, you guys, without even knowing it. Story time, you guys. Oh my goodness. Story time. I'm so excited. Hi guys, welcome to Nana's channel. This is where I bring you everything about moving to Canada, my experiences, my challenges, my downfalls, my upfalls, new jobs, everything Canada, and also educating you along the way. If my story can help change or motivate somebody out there, that is why I exist, and that's why this channel do exist. So thank you so much for clicking. I really do appreciate. So today I'm gonna be telling you a story time, most embarrassing day of my life. Okay, it was not one day, it was not even 2 days, it was a whole 3 months that I had to be embarrassed over the same thing over and over again. And I'm telling you guys, if you're new to a country, the culture is different. Even if they speak the same language, there are just some jokes that you're never gonna get. There's just some phrases that you just never understand. Certain things that are gonna make people laugh, you know, and you don't understand what's funny. We use English, right? And my English is majorly influenced by 3 different things. My local language, which is Luo, my Swahili has influenced it, and also British English, because of course the British people decided that they wanted to teach us English, and so Kenyan English is heavily influenced by that. I don't mean the accent, you guys. I mean like the words that they use. I mean like certain pronunciations. Just like, for example, you know, like serviettes. You know, in Kenya, we would just say, oh, grab me a serviette, and nobody would be like, what are you talking about, you know? So actually, that has reminded me of the very first thing that made me so embarrassed. So we were on a road trip to, I think, to Vancouver with some of my friends, and I needed to use some serviettes, and my friend, who was the owner of that car, had some serviettes on the side of his car. And for the record, if you're Canadian watching this video, serviettes, okay, I'm not gonna spoil it. Keep on watching, and you'll see why I was really embarrassed. So there was a co-driver who is Canadian, born and raised, and I kept on asking, and the serviettes were on the side of his door, so I kept on asking, hey, can I have some serviettes, please? And he was like, what? May I have some serviettes, please? I say, excuse me? May I have some serviettes, please? So like I started questioning myself. You know, usually when you're new to a country and you say something and somebody's like, what? Repeat or pardon? You know, you start questioning yourself. I was very sure in my mind that I know what I wanted, and I know it's called serviettes, you know. So I kept on repeating, and then one of my friends caught up to it and was like, oh, paper towel. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the hell? Like, really? In my entire life, I wouldn't have thought to call it a paper towel. I mean, if somebody else used that word paper towel, I would know exactly what they mean, just because I know what a paper towel is. But I wouldn't have thought to use that word for a serviette, you know. Because leading up to that point, there were days that Canadians asked for paper towels, and I could get them paper towels. I know what it is, but I also like just question, like, my friend did not know what a serviette is. Well, again, that's what I mean. We are heavily influenced by British English, and so some words are just different. The other thing is like a supermarket. You know, when I came to Canada, I used to call it a supermarket, and I'm just like, oh, I'm going to a supermarket. What's a supermarket? I'm going to a grocery store, you people. So those are like this few little differences here and there that sometimes can be embarrassing. Now, those two are not the most embarrassing so far. Those are just like, I would say, miscommunication. Is it miscommunication? I don't think it's even miscommunication. It's just, you know, using different terms for the same thing, and also the fact that our English is influenced by different factors. Like the Canadians is more North American English, and yeah. So yeah, back to the story, you guys. Back to the story. So I was traveling in Europe before I moved to Canada, and the way we don't have McDonald's in Kenya. I don't know if we have McDonald's right now. Comment down below if McDonald's has arrived in Kenya. I have no idea. If it has, I am so sorry, but I am pretty sure we don't have McDonald's yet. So when I was traveling, I tried McDonald's. I tried the French McDonald's. I tried the Dutch McDonald's. I don't mean to say that they're French or they're Dutch McDonald's. I mean the ones in those countries. So I tried those, and after you try, you satisfy that curiosity, and that curiosity goes away. But when I moved to Canada now, it's different, because I moved to Canada and I didn't know where to get Kenyan food. I was craving Kenyan food. Before I got to get Kenyan food, I needed to survive. In my mind, I thought McDonald's was the only way to survive. Oh my gosh, I was so wrong, but story for another day. Anyways, I had tried McDonald's before, and so the only familiar thing for me was McDonald's. So in my small stupid mind, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be getting food from McDonald's. When I came to Canada, I rented Airbnb for like a week as I looked for a place to rent, and so I was not set up to cook and all that. I know some Airbnbs have like those cooking options, but the stress of like going to a grocery store and buying whatever, and I was only there for 5 days, I said I would just eat out. So I decided to be going to McDonald's. That was the only familiar restaurant to me in Canada. Back in the days that we didn't even have African stores, African restaurants in the town that I was living in, that is Kamloops. Right now I know there's a West African restaurant, but also the fact that I was new, I was not just gonna know where to find African stuff that I'm used to. So anyways, we are going to McDonald's. So every day I go to McDonald's, and I don't just go to one McDonald's, I order pop. In case you don't know what a pop is Coca-Cola. No, it's a soda. I order soda, I order the Big Mac and fries. And each time I place this order, the looks that I get, I'm like, am I ordering the wrong thing, or it's the combination, or what is it? Like every time I placed an order, and this happened with different McDonald's, different servers, completely different, but the looks I was getting, some of them were laughing, some of them were just holding the laugh. You could just see that they were holding the laugh, and some of them were just like, say what? And in my head it's like, what am I not pronouncing right? It's a soda, and it's a Big Mac, and it's written there like that, and it's fries. Like, I was not even saying chips, you guys. So what if I said chips? Because in Kenya we call fries chips, right? But I was not even saying chips, because that one nilishachanuliwa. I already know that. It went on for almost 3 months. Like every time I went to McDonald's, it was the same thing. You mean? Say what? Excuse me? So I couldn't get it. Like, I was not just understanding what I was ordering that was either funny, bad, or not understandable. So maybe I thought it's my accent. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe it's my accent. I will just repeat what I'm ordering and move on. One day, myself and Rue, I know you guys know Rue, and one of my Canadian church friends, we were going on a road trip to Kelowna. And I'm the one who was driving. I actually buy these cans of Coca-Cola and keep them in my car. So I had those cans, those cans that I had like a whole cans of Coca-Cola in my car. On our way back from church, we had not eaten. Oh, I have some cans of Coca-Cola, you can help yourself out. And my Canadian friend just goes like, he was laughing. It was hilarious to him. What did I say wrong? Like, I just said cans of Coca-Cola, and Ru already knew what was up, but Ru did not even tell me. Ru did not tell me what it was. She wasn't laughing as much, but my Canadian friend could not hold it. He was like laughing hysterically. So, anyways, he didn't even correct me. He didn't say anything. He just laughed, and I just ignored. So we went home. So then there comes a wedding. So there was a wedding at church. This is like days apart, weeks apart. So there's a wedding at church, and I go, of course. Ru is there, and this Canadian friend who was there before was there, and his family, his parents were also there, and we were seated on the same table. And yeah, people are drinking and people are eating, and then this same Canadian friend starts narrating the story to his parents, and they are laughing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what is it? That's when I realized that, you guys, I was ordering cocks. Now hear me out. In Kenya, what do we call Coca-Cola? Kenyans in the house, please comment down below. In Kenya, how do we call Coca-Cola? If you go to a store, you want to buy Coca-Cola, or you just go to a shop and you want like Coca-Cola, how do you call it? Can I have a Coke? May I have a Coke, please? That's how we say it. Nobody ever stops to think that I might be pronouncing something else. I just think that people are more accustomed to referring to Coca-Cola as Cokes, because it's a Coke. Like, how is it treated? C-O-K-E, right? So people just know. Like, you go to a shop, you order that, people just know you want a Coca-Cola. Lord, I came to Canada and almost regretted. So you guys, you can imagine all these McDonald's that I was going to for 3 months, 3 good months. I was ordering something else. I was ordering a bunch of Cokes. And in my mind, I was so innocent. I was like, I just want a Coca-Cola. So let's go back. I was not calling it Coca-Cola. I was calling it a Coke. So I would go to a McDonald's and be like, oh, may I have a Coke, Big Mac, and fries? And that's when they were like, say what? I was ordering a bunch of Cokes, you guys, without even knowing it. And once I was told, I was just like, Canadians, you have dirty minds. Like, are you kidding me? Dirty-minded people. Never in my entire world would I think of going to McDonald's to order a Coke. I mean this. Okay? I would definitely go to McDonald's to order this Coke and not this one. So you Canadians out there, you need to calm down. Okay? So then the question was like, how do you pronounce it in Canada? How do you call it? Oh, you just say a Coke? Excuse me? A Coke? A Coke? What is that? How do you spell it? C-O-K-E. How do you pronounce it? Coke? Where's the U? I do not get it. The U is silent. It's silent like in the spelling and in the pronunciation as well. Oh my gosh, dirty-minded people. If you're coming to Canada as a new immigrant, to avoid this embarrassment, just call it pop. They call it pop. And thank me later. Now, if you had a laugh out of this, please make sure to comment down below and let me know what other word do you use in your country and you used in a different country and people were just like, whoa, calm down. I'd like to know in the comment section. I like a good laugh, so let's continue the conversation in the comment section, shall we? Now, the story does not end there. So at this time, I was living with a Canadian host, Kim. So I told Kim the story. Oh my gosh. Kim wanted us to go to a restaurant and intentionally order cocks. And you guys, I cannot say the rest here, otherwise YouTube will. I don't want YouTube to block my videos. But you guys, it's a whole new world. Anyways, thank you so much for watching until this point. I really do appreciate it. If you're a new subscriber, make sure to click on the subscribe button. If you are returning subscriber, thank you so much for always clicking my videos. Make sure to leave a sweet comments, share my videos with your friends and family. Road to 15,000 subscribers, you guys, we can do it. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate, and see you in my next video.